So you're going out to 1,000 yards with this 6.5 Creedmoor, or 400 with your .22 long rifle. If you introduce any cant into that position, it can mean the difference between ringing that steel and dead silence. Hi everyone, it's the 4Gun Guy. And today I wanted to talk about the SendiT electronic level from long range arms. Now I've had other levels on my scope to help me reduce cant. And they've been the bubble levels. As a matter of fact, this spur mount here has a bubble level in the back of it here. But I found that I was spending too much time kind of trying to look at the bubble level, look back at the target, look at the bubble level. And I just wanted something that would just be an indication of what was going on, that I didn't really have to pay attention to. And I think I found it with the SendiT. So what I wanted to go over today was, let's talk about cant. There's a great article out there, I'm going to post that here, about cant and how it can affect your longer range shots. I want to talk about why I chose the SendiT, and then we'll get behind the rifle. I don't know if we need to get out to the range to do this, probably don't. But we'll get behind the rifle, kind of see what I'm talking about when I say it's just an indication of what's going on, and then we'll have some final thoughts. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Well, I'm not going to go into the deep mechanics of cant, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. Now, there's a really good article by Richard Mann in Shooting Illustrated, I believe it is, and I'll put the link up here somewhere. Basically, what he did was he had a 168 grain 30 caliber bullet, if I'm remembering correctly. BC, I don't know what the BC was, but the velocity was 2681, and he shot that at 1,000 yards, right? Now, at 1,000 yards, what he's saying is the bullet is going to drop 407 inches. And I'm putting this graphic up here because he also put in a really nice graphic on how that 3-degree cant will affect your shot from, say, 200 yards out to the 1,000 yards. And basically what he was saying is the horizontal point of impact due to the cant is about 24 inches out at 1,000 yards. So if you look at this graphic that I'm going to put up here, at 200 yards, I believe this is maybe a 15-inch plate, 16-inch plate, the blue. 200 yards, 1 inch, 400 yards, 3 inches, 600 yards, 7 inches. So the cant is really starting to affect where the impact is on that plate. And when you get out to 800 yards, I'm sorry, it's 13 inches, and at 1,000 yards, it's 24 inches. And you can see that it's kind of dropping a little bit as well. And basically what he's saying is that you're moving the center of the reticle away at a 3-degree angle from that very nicely aligned flight that the bullet is expecting to follow. So that's why the cant is affecting the flight of the bullet and hence your impact. So let's talk about now why I chose the SendiT. Well, I chose the SendiT really for one very good reason. I did some research, and this was really the only electronic level I found out there, which kind of shocked me. So if you guys know of any others that are out there, please let me know. But I did a Google search and went to some of the forums and all that stuff, and this was really all I could find. As I said before, I had some bubble levels, but they were difficult to mount, to look at as I was down on the rifle. And they were it was more hassle to use them than it was not to use them. So, you know, that's one reason. I love this SendiT because it has a lot of different mounting options. Now, I've told you that I use a spur mount, and that I standardized both my rifles, the 6.5 Creedmoor and my Voodoo V22 that I use for 22 long rifle matches. So they both have the same spur mount on them. And SendiT has, this is the V3, I think it is. And this, you can purchase a mount that mounts directly into the spur. So I'll get close here for you, but you'll see that it's mounted right onto the spur mount, and it doesn't really interfere with anything. I can still adjust my parallax, and my parallax, I never come off the scope to adjust the parallax while I'm shooting anyway, right? That's usually done before the stage even begins, so I don't have to worry about that, and it really doesn't interfere with anything else. So I like the simplicity of it. I like the indicator, the way the indicator functions, and it's just a really simple piece of equipment. So that's really why I went with the SendiT. And you know, I got it thinking, well, if this thing's gonna get in the way or it's gonna distract me or anything, you know, I'll probably return it, but it has not. I really, really liked having it on there. So let's get kind of behind this thing, get a little closer up, and I'll show you how it works and what it looks like when I'm behind the rifle. Well, let's start with the setup here, the installation. As you can see, I've got this bracket right underneath here, and it attaches right to the spur mount. So this is fantastic. It's out of the way. It's not sticking way out here. Now, in all fairness, if you look at this spur mount and how it's mounted on my rail, I really don't have any room for another Picatinny mount on this rail. This spur mount really takes up the whole thing. That's another reason why I got this adapter here. But I just love how it's close in with the mount. It's not sticking out. If I have to go through a window or something like that, I don't have to worry about this thing impacting the edge of the window and snapping off or anything. It's the construction is all aluminum, very sturdy. And let's go ahead and get behind it now, and I'll kind of show you what it looks like as I'm addressing the scope. So this is what the view is from behind the scope. Now, look, I'm pretty far back here. I'm about a foot off the scope. We would be right up here, right on the optic. But just before the stage, I crank this thing on. It goes through a little bit of a test, and there it is. And then it's indicating whether it's level or not. It has a brightness here, so I can really turn this thing up. I'll leave it bright for this presentation, but I can turn it down if it's darker. And really what it's doing, it's very simple, guys. If I'm leaning to the right, I get a blue light. And if I get a double blue light, that means I'm really leaning to the right. If I'm leaning to the left, I get a red light. And if I'm spot on, I get my green light. I'm just doing this right here so you guys can see it. There we go, right there. I get a green light, right? Now, I have this thing sitting on a table and I'm messing with it without being behind it and all that. But my point here is with a bubble level, I found my left eye focusing on it, right? Trying to see if it was level or not. With this thing, I keep my left eye open, as I always do when I'm shooting, but I don't focus on this. I'm literally just looking for a color. And I know if it's blue, I'm canted right. I know if it's red, I'm canted left. My entire vision is still down this tube, down on that reticle, on that target. So this really, really is a nice feature. I really love how this thing just kind of allows me to still level my rifle, but I'm not focused on it. And here you can see, you can get another good idea of that bracket, right? It's just an L bracket, goes right onto the spur mount. Well, final thoughts, pretty short. I did want to say that, look, this thing isn't cheap. It's $230 if you get the SendiT MV3, which is the one I had to get because I wanted this bracket for the spur mount, which is another 65 bucks. So, you know, you're at around 300 bucks for this thing. Is it worth it? It is to me, and I'll tell you why. I've told you this before. I don't want to have to focus on a bubble level and spend 5 seconds figuring out if I'm level or not. I just want to know and see an indication of whether I'm level and which way I have to go. So this really does fit the bill for me. I did buy 2 of those brackets at 65 bucks. So I have one on this scope and one on the Voodoo scope. So now all I have to do is unscrew the level itself and move it over to the Voodoo if I'm shooting that match. Move it back for this one for this match. That saved me the 230 bucks on another one of these levels. The SendiT by Long Range Arms. Love this thing. And yeah, it's just really done good for me so far. I've shot it in 2 matches and I've really enjoyed it. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, and until next time, shoot straight.